and tell, but when you prick yourself, it comes out red when oxygen hits it. So, in today's reality in cyberspace, we don't know what color you are, and we can only go by your voice unless we're now going to live stream and videos. So we're not just doing articles and magazines. We went to the newspaper generation and the magazine, but now they're online. And so it doesn't really matter what color you are anymore. If you're fluent in speaking and choosing your words well, that really help. And, the indigo children were very special because we expected them. And then the rainbow and the crystal children, we were giving different 20-year intervals of coming to the planet, different names of what we expect the children to be, have their gifts, in other words, at least in the spiritual, metaphysical, esoteric community.
Yeah.
So these children nowadays, let's see, so my grandchildren are just going into the workforce. Now I have one grandson that is a pilot in the Air Force. I haven't seen him even though he lived here in Florida, but he's always busy working for the Air Force, and they're very, different, so to speak, in the way we live in the military. I was Navy, he's Air Force. Now, my daughters, they were in the hospitality, working at hotels, or one did work in putting in cables here for Emerald Coast along Gulf Breeze area in a 5-state region. She did cyberspace culture, but she did it through, when they were going around putting in all the smart houses and rewiring cable and all that. And then the man next to me that comes over, he's like my son, he still does that type of work. So there's jobs if you want to help run wire. Still, there's always a need in our communication business to run cable and into homes and these smart phones. Let me tell you, with my way of living now, it's so different than when I was a child, to live through all of this and go from, I remember we had a television. You may find this funny, but it's a big deal to get a television back when I was 1953, 54, but we had one. And then my uncle, when I was 9 or 10, bought me one for my bedroom. So we'd have one, and it had doors you could close on the front of it. It came encased, which I thought was really impressive at 58, 59. But we've gone from just television entertainment and phones. We had phones on the wall. Usually the one in the kitchen was always on the wall. And so we had plug-in phones. Of course, now we have cell phones, but what a way we've come. And we compare a lot of it to what we have.
We have come. I mean, the technology it's chilling sometimes. Like you look and you go, wow, we can do that. Like, not to take away from what you said or go forward or backwards, but like just even the event that a woman is pregnant. They can look and see the baby on the monitor and the screen and all those different things, and if they need to do surgery, God forbid, they can do that. I mean, the technology is immense. It goes from science to, just simple things that we didn't have, you couldn't do,
I didn't get to see my baby. In the 60s, they didn't show us do ultrasounds or whatever. Or
they didn't do that?
They didn't show it. No. Now, I had mine 68, 70, 71, and then 74. But none of them, they may have had it, but they didn't, it wasn't a thing for you to show your, and I was regularly, I had Lamaze, and we did have Lamaze technique to have natural childbirth when I gave birth to my children. So they were considered all natural childbirth because mother taught me about Lamaze, and she went to Lamaze classes. But like I said, she was very open and very aggressive on being a woman and educated and giving birth. So that was pretty neat to know how to do that and to breathe properly, and that you're going to go through pain anyway. And usually by the time you got the spinal the time they would give it to you, it didn't do that much good. And I watched my daughter get 2 spinals. To me, that's more painful than having the baby, but, to each his own. So, we learn from each other. But I died with the last one. I guess that's what gave me the feeling for doing what we're doing today, and that's speaking out and being women of the intuitive kind and helping with cyberspace culture now. I know I had
building it up.
Cyberspace culture. Yeah, and then today the cyberspace culture was gone, and I don't understand that, so I must have flipped the date. But we're working together to build this on Wednesdays, and it's not easy I should screen the people. That's why we need to learn that, to have the host and the co-host and to screen the chat room, and to also screen the calls before we let somebody come on.
Before you put them on.
About that. Yeah, I did. I should have done that. I've got to, but I have to have you talking, and this is something we have to work out, folks, even after 9 years, because I've changed people, and we'll work all this out because this goes out all over, and I need to take this one and go back in and learn to. They used to offer me editing tools. I'm going to have to see if Blog Talk has that, or if they don't, I'm going to have to ask for it back, because I used to could go in and cut and paste. But I haven't seen that tool on this particular platform. Now, what else do you have on cyberspace culture besides security? Women.
Well, the security, I was also talking about the negative experiences in the cyberspace world that affects women and girls, and significantly increased the staggering number as reports suggest that 73% of women have been already exposed to or have experienced some form of online violence. What must still be considered a relatively new and growing technology. So, though a lot of women are being strong and, resilient and everything, and working in this field, and we represent 20% right now, we're still getting affected in the negative area of whether it's bullying or some type of form of violence online, and it's 73%. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I think hopefully eventually women, girls will learn how to make sure that their codes are covered, secured, and sealed, so that no one can break, the cyberspace that they're entered on.
Well, it's like that gentleman that came on earlier. That's no coincidence, but I'd love to know why they have to do that. Something in them, or either they're being paid to hack, and sometimes it makes me even wonder if it's because of the topics we choose. But I put up intuitive. The cyberspace culture wasn't up for the show today, which I told you I don't know how that went away. And I don't have enough on the psychic today to do psychic readings. But, it used to be we got more calls, and I can set it up on psychic. We can have just psychic readings for a certain day. But Intuitive Women Wednesdays is, on Wednesdays it's going to be, we're going to have more about women and let women, if they want to promote themselves or help us in our club. That I've started with helping them talk about subjects and how we can heal the world, heal ourselves. And then tomorrow we have Sam Flanagan. He's the life coach, and he'll be coming on Thursday. And so hopefully I'll build back up where I can have different shows for different things. Now, with you and I doing this in audio and radio, like I said, I've been here 9 years. I've seen a lot of things, heard a lot of things. But it takes something like going to work, even if you're not getting paid, even to do radio shows.
Yeah, have the passion and the drive to do that, whether it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and you want to do it, slam dunk, you're going to have half an hour talk on this, and maybe the next 30 So 60 minutes is on that, and you wrap it up at an hour, or you wrap it up in 2. So it's to me, it's just passion, having the passion and the drive and the mission and understanding of what you want to bring forth to the people in the radio world, get educated, knowledgeable about as we go forward.
I'd like to see it go all over for the 195 countries in the world, but we've got to get better cyberspace, culture, community resources, tools with the smartphones. And fortunately, Elon Musk is putting up these satellites, Starlink, with the balloons or however they're going to do them up there around in is space. It's higher than normal, but I don't know if it's going to be quite at the satellite level. I don't understand the technology of how he's going to use what he's using. Now, he's putting up satellites all the time, but this is supposed to be around the areas that they apparently can't reach. I haven't studied it or done research on it, so we should do a show on that if you can. Write that down. The future of satellite communication, and Elon Musk putting up.
The future of satellite what?
Yeah, communication around the world, because we see you and I you're close enough to the big city, and I'm in a small city, but a touristy Gulf Breeze next to Pensacola. But fortunately, the military was all down here, and some places are built up in the United States much more so than areas of the desert, and over even close to Bahrain and Iraq and Iran, and where a lot of our cultures began on this planet. And it really concerns me that the levels of intelligence that we've had on this planet have not concerned themselves with the entire planet and all the people, regardless of where their location is. But it seems to be, the big companies invest in America, and of course China now, they're investing in China. Warren Buffett, and of course Bill Gates has given half his company, I think, or stepped half of his towards Warren Buffett, as has Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is the one that just went up with his brother and an older woman astronaut, 82, I believe, or however old she was, and then a young boy. Was he 19? I forget his age.
18.
I can't believe how much he ago. Was he 18? So we've had the 4 go up, and Bezos is working towards hopefully satellite communication, but he's been wanting to put people up in space. He was intrigued with that, so he's got money into satellites, or no, really, he's put his money into taking people up, I guess you'd say interstellar, but he could only go so far, but it did count, if you go up 60 miles or so. So one thing is the communication for all the people on the entire planet versus just going for a joyride. And right now, the only people that could afford it is in the millions, it appears, with Sir Richard Branson. Now, Sir Richard Branson has his group, Virgin. I don't know if you're familiar with how this works or who can afford it, but they're all the richest men in the world, basically. And when the government said, our government in the United States of America allowed to go into space to be public, or contractors, we'll say, that's how other people besides NASA, because NASA, National Aeronautics Space Administration, was able to feed in from the intelligence community out of where you live up there in Maryland and D.C., right? So if you go back and study the history of NASA, which shocked me, it was the intelligence community that Central Intelligence Agency in the beginning, and I was really shocked to find that out. So in the entire world, intelligence and the communications and how we interact with government agencies has always been a big part of who gets to go up in space. So cyberspace culture is, of course, has to deal with the internet and how